Welcome, Penn Hills community, to the February edition of Coffee and Conversation. We have a good slate of guests today, and we're going to provide some information. Our first guest is Associate Principal at the high school, Miss Jacqueline Dorsett. One of the first topics in the month of February that needs to be discussed is Black History Month. During Black History Month, we do many activities throughout the schools to promote all the Black individuals who have helped promote education, politics, science, arts, civil rights, and many other areas. We want to highlight today the work that Ms. Dorsett's doing at our senior high school with a door competition. With that being said, Ms. Dorsett, do you want to tell us about the Black History Month door competition in this initiative?
Yeah, so the Black History Month door competition, it was inspired by a desire to create school-wide interactive celebration of Black culture, history, and achievements. And so I wanted to go beyond the traditional classroom sessions and lessons and make learning visible throughout the school. So the initiative, it encourages creativity, collaboration, critical thinking while highlighting contributions of Black individuals throughout history. It's about turning our hallways into living museums that reflect the richness of the Black heritage.
Ms. Dorsett, have the students and teachers really engaged in this project?
Yes, so the level of engagement, it's incredible. The teachers are incorporating historical research into their lessons while students are actively participating throughout artwork and poetry. And there are some standout themes like the Harlem Renaissance, the Civil Rights Movement, STEM and art and contemporary Black leaders. A door that stood out to me was August Wilson's Fences. That was a teacher that did that, and it showed powerful imagery, and it also sparked conversations about Wilson's work. There was another door that stood out to me, and that was, it had an inspiring quote on it. It was, "Never limit yourself to limited imagination." And that was Dr. Mae Jameson. And it had all photos of Black astronauts on that one. And so it highlighted groundbreaking achievements of space exploration on it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So why is it, in your eyes, important to celebrate Black History Month? And how does this initiative enhance learning? And I think you delved upon that a little bit.
I think it's important to celebrate Black History Month in school because it fosters a sense of pride and representation and inclusivity. It ensures that Black voices and stories are just not overlooked, but they're honored and they're a part of our collective history. So it enhances learning by promoting critical thinking and cultural awareness, and it brings meaningful discussions about identity and social justice and the historical impact connecting past to present day experiences.
Great. So what are some ways that students and families can continue to enhance this project and learn more about Black History Month beyond the classroom?
I like that. So families can visit local museums, they can attend cultural events. As we know, August Wilson's from Pittsburgh, and many of his plays are brought into town. And so they're here throughout the year. I also think that students and families can dive into biographies and novels, as well as engaging in maybe community service projects. I like the idea of genealogy, and so now that's big with Ancestry and with 23andMe, where families can then begin to dive into their own history so that they can begin to have conversations. And then the generations can come together where grandparents and grandkids can have conversations about their past so that they can learn about their history.
Great. So I think everybody's going to want to hear, when will the winner be announced? And I know it was a big deal last year. Any information on that?
So our winners are going to be announced this Friday. And there is criteria as well, and that is going to include creativity, historical accuracy, visual impact, and student involvement. So many students were involved, and that is going to be looked at as one of our criteria as well.
And I have one last question. Anything else that you would like to, expand upon for Black History Month, or somebody that really motivated you as a student and you had to do a report on, when you were back in the classroom?
So when I think about Black history, I think about, I had many teachers that were just very impactful, and they taught the history as well as now they became part of my history. So, and also they helped me to understand that Black history isn't just about looking back, it's about understanding how the past and it shapes our present and our future. So the lessons and the stories that we are learning and that we have learned and I have learned highlight us year round. So it gives us the opportunity to move forward in our work, in our life, of recognizing resilience and how we were just shaped.
Sure.
Yes.
Excellent job. Thank you for joining us. I know you're busy at the high school. We're sneaking away for a few minutes. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'd like to welcome our second guest, Ms. Fitzroy, who is our lead in the theaters at Linton Middle School. And we're going to ask a few questions about this year's play. So, Ms. Fitzroy, can you tell us a little bit about the theme for this year's middle school musical, and what's the storyline?
So this year's middle school musical is the SpongeBob Musical Youth Edition, so it's a little bit smaller for younger kids. A lot of the themes are finding ways to believe in yourself, finding ways to believe in your community, and finding ways to work together towards a common goal. Our big story is, SpongeBob, he's got his best friends, Patrick and Sandy. They're just living their lives, and all of a sudden, Bikini Bottom is in danger because there's a volcano that's going to erupt. So, working together, they need to stop that to save their town. And we see all of the other characters like Mr. Krabs and Squidward, and they help too.
Awesome. You don't want to give away too much.
No.
You want to bring people out here. So, how have the students been preparing for the production, and what's the rehearsal process been like?
So, we had auditions in late October, and since then we've been working about 3 afternoons a week for about an hour and a half, working on getting their songs right, teaching them how to act on stage and where they need to go, and working with props and all of those things. Lately, we've just been running the show over and over to get it in their heads so they have it for next weekend.
Great. So, the philosophy in Penn Hills is that we want to get students involved. And some of the students have a niche for the arts and theater. Why is it valuable for students to be involved?
So I'm also one of the assistant marching band directors. So the arts are big for me. And I think really in schools, especially in middle school, where they're going through so much change and life is so crazy, the arts are a way for them to find their home. They find friends that they might not have found otherwise. Everyone's working together towards a common goal, so they have a focus, and they make friends that they'll keep for the rest of their lives.
Very good. So what are some behind-the-scenes moments or surprises that are, make this year's show special?
The great thing about SpongeBob is we laugh all the time. So we have a lot of fun. One of my favorite things was, actually yesterday, we sat down in a circle, we took a minute, and everyone went through and said what their favorite song or scene in the show was and why. And it was really great to see them choose scenes and songs that they weren't in, because it gave them the opportunity to support their friends.
Right.
So building that family community has been the biggest thing behind the scenes this year.
Great. And I did come to last year's production, which was wonderful, so I'm looking forward to some big things this year. And so when and where can the community come to see this performance?
So SpongeBob is happening here at Linton in the auditorium next Friday the 21st and Saturday the 22nd at 7 p.m. and Sunday the 23rd at 2 p.m.
Okay, so community, you have 3 chances. Friday night, Saturday night, 7 p.m., and then Sunday matinee at 2 p.m. Hopefully, we see you there. Hey, thank you for coming on. I know
Thank
you're
you.
busy. Good luck, and if you need anything, let us know. Thank you. Okay, I would like to welcome Miss Vinsler, who's one of our guidance counselors at Linton Middle School. February is National Counseling Month, so we wanted to highlight this and bring in Miss Vinsler for some advice. Can you share, the role of a counselor in supporting student well-being? Because in this day and age, it's more than just academics. We want to support the whole child, and especially on that emotional end of things. So how do we do that?
It really is a gamut, A to Z. I mean, you never know what we're walking in here every day. You never know what happened the night before in the community. You never know what a student has gone through in the morning, whether it was a turbulent getting up at home. Maybe they couldn't find their computer, their backpack. So it really is A to Z. And it is kind of, what walks in the door and presents itself to us, but then we also have exactly what we need to do as far as, our teaching social emotional learning in the classroom itself. We are teaching career lessons so that these kids have an idea about what they want to do when they get done with their schooling in high school. We invite the parents in. Communication is huge with the parents. A parent is much more, at ease when you've already established that relationship with them. It's not the first time they're hearing from you. And truly, if you have the parent support, even if the student is misbehaving in school, we can figure out a way to channel it so that we can get them back on track.
Okay. Ms. Vinsler, you have a lot of experience. So how many years do you have in as a counselor, and how many years in Penn Hill School District? I'm curious.
30.58.
Okay.
So I have outstood most of my peers here, but it also has taught me that our students are changing. It's not the same student walking in the door that we had walking in the door 20 years ago. It just really isn't. Some of them are carrying baggage that you and I would struggle to carry on a daily basis. And it really is sad. And then there are kids that walk in, parent made them a full breakfast, their lunch is packed, they've got their computer, and then you've got another kid who's coming in with 3 wheels on a suitcase, duct taped together, and we have to try to make it an equal field so those kids can learn the same way the kid that's coming from a non-turbulent or a house that is not struggling with some mental health issues. We have to take the barriers out. All kids can learn. It's just we've got to figure out how to do it.
Absolutely. And you answered some of this, but is there anything you'd like to, bring to the forefront, the biggest challenges students face regarding mental health, and how do you navigate with interventions?
We try to, so we use our student assistance program here at Linton Middle School, and we have also just been blessed with Pittsburgh Mercy is going to be our provider also here at school. We are going to have a therapist in every school full-time and an extra floater depending on where the need needs to be. We need these supports in school. Oftentimes, if the onus of responsibility has to fall on the parent to get the child to counseling services outside, it's too hard. Either, transportation, practices, other kids, whatever. So we need to also make that accessible and take the barrier from counseling out. With Mercy, it doesn't matter if a student has insurance or not. Everybody, we have created the equity for every student in Penn Hills to receive therapy and counseling while they are here, which is huge.
That's good to hear. What advice would you give to parents who want to support their child's mental health at home?
If they don't know where to start, we're a great resource. We have 3 to 4 counselors in every school building. We have licensed social workers in all 3 buildings. We have behavior specialists in all 3 buildings. Somebody here is going to be able to give them the direction that they need to get their child help. Just listen to them, even if you don't understand it. My own child went through, I didn't understand it was happening underneath my own roof, and I do this for a living. So just listen to them, ask us for help. We can point you in the right direction. Mercy's going to be huge. It's a huge umbrella of resources for us. Inpatient, outpatient, THOS programs. I mean, it's going to open up so many avenues for our students who are struggling.
And one of the areas we're seeing an uptick in is addiction with vaping. And I know there's a partnership with Adagio Health at Linton Middle School, and at the high school there's a new program called Three Rivers Diversion Program that will help students through that. So we do have supports in place for pretty much anything and everything. But parents, if you're at wit's end and you have questions, please, like Mrs. Vinsler said, we have 3 or 4 counselors in each building, home visitors in each building. We spend a lot of resources to ensure we're taking care of the whole child.
And I'm not going to say we have all the answers, but we can certainly find some.
Sure.
We're a good group of people. We want all these kids to succeed. My commitment to 30 years here in the Penn Hill School District is just that.
And then lastly, if a student is struggling emotionally or academically, what are the first steps they can do to get help?
Usually we find them. It's not often. I mean, sometimes, I'm not going to say it never happens. Sometimes a student will come and self-advocate for themselves. But in general, we are the first line when we start seeing behaviors that are impeding their learning process or disrupting classrooms. Their academics tend to drop based on these mental health issues. It's difficult for them to maintain, peer relationships, their schoolwork. ADHD and depression are some of the biggest ones that we see here in school. Anxiety, they really contribute to, interfering with the success of a student here at Linton Middle School. So, we want to get that, setting up parent meetings, getting our student assistance team, getting Mercy Behavioral involved. So we've got many avenues. We need to have the parent involved and the student in front of us.
Anything else you'd like to add for the community?
No, it's been a great 30 years. I'm not going anywhere yet, but it's been fun. It's been fun to grow with Penn Hills.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and I know you're busy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to welcome 2 guests for our coffee and conversation. Kindergarten teacher, Miss Chris, and Miss Ott, one of our reading specialists at the elementary school. So I'm going to ask a few questions about the kindergarten registration process, and we'll go from there. So why is the early childhood education so important, and how does it set the foundation for lifelong learning?
Well, I'll answer this if you don't mind, Carrie. So really, early childhood is so important there's 2 reasons. First, the education process, when they come to kindergarten, if they don't have that early childhood experience like a preschool or daycare setting, it's so important because it helps to bridge their home life with the expectations of what kindergarten is. And ultimately, research shows us that in that first 5 years of life, their brain is developing so much. It's like, a lot of people say it's like a sponge. So they're trying to make sense of the world around them and just absorbing everything, trying to make connections. So when they're kind of put in those situations to learn, they're naturally curious and they want to make sense of the world around them. So they're looking at us and using their experiences to understand what's going on. So if they can have opportunities to develop problem solving, critical thinking skills, and communication skills, then ultimately they're more successful when they come to kindergarten.
Anything, Ms. Ott, that you'd like to add?
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, next, what do parents need to know about the upcoming kindergarten registration event?
Well, we actually have a lot of events planned. The first one is Frosty Fest. That is next Wednesday in the evening, so it's February 19th. We invite our incoming kindergartners, the preschoolers, but also the kindergartners that are currently at Penn Hills Elementary School to participate in lots of literacy activities, which Mrs. Ott so beautifully creates. But then that kind of gets them thinking about like registration and then all the events that come. Our reading night in March, that's the first week that we invite those new kiddos to come and participate in more reading and literacy activities. And then they're given dates of other events. There's one in April, May,
June, July, and August.
yeah. So there's something
All through
for
the
them
summer.
to do all throughout the summer. And I think our goal is in doing that, they see our elementary school, they meet the staff, and they build relationships with, it's going to be their classmates, so that they kind of have that opportunity to be welcomed in before the start of school.
So parents, please, if you're thinking about enrolling your child for kindergarten in Penn Hills School District, or if you're not, just come in, meet the staff, meet the administration,
Yeah.
meet the reading specialists, the teachers. That's all we ask, and we know you'll go away feeling
You
welcome.
might get a cool shirt. I think mine says, "I'm ready to buzz into Penn Hills Elementary School." I know we have a lot of giveaways too.
Awesome,
Books to
awesome,
give to kids.
awesome.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Grow your libraries.
Yeah.
So what are some tips for families to help prepare their child for kindergarten?
All right. Well, the number one tip I can share with families is to spend 20 minutes a day reading with your child. Numerous research studies have proven that reading 20 minutes a day helps them build vocabulary, increase their language and early literacy skills. It also builds the child's confidence to work through challenges and develop social and emotional skills, which are essential to school success. And families should also take advantage of the Penn Hills Public Library and its programs. They should visit the library, have your child get a free library card, and let them choose books about their interests. Another tip is to establish a consistent morning and evening routine before they enter kindergarten. This helps the child transition to school by getting up every morning, getting dressed, having breakfast, and then going on to activities. You can also help your child to develop independence at home. Encourage your child to dress himself, take his coat on and off, and hang it up, use the bathroom without assistance, and wash his hands. These skills will help him be ready for the classroom, the cafeteria, and the bathroom,
Yeah.
which is a big thing in
Self-help
kindergarten.
skills are probably the hardest thing to teach, and routines help to establish that.
Okay.
All right.
So why should parents choose Penn Hills Elementary? Tell us some of the engaging activities or programs kindergarten students can participate in.
We have a lot of programs that are coming up for our incoming kindergartners and our current kindergartners and their families. They can participate in Frosty Fest on Wednesday, February 19th at Penn Hills Elementary School from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Families can come and enjoy some fun reading activities with our staff and take home a new book to add to their home library. The first week of March is Penn Hills Elementary Kindergarten Registration Week. Information can be found on the Penn Hills School District website, or you can call the Penn Hills Elementary School for further details. On Thursday, March 6th, we will be hosting our annual Title I Family Literacy Night from 5:30 to 7 p.m. This is an annual school-wide event that gives families an opportunity to engage in literacy activities, the PTO Scholastic Book Fair, and gain information about other community organizations. In the spring, we will host our first kindergarten transition night at Penn Hills Elementary School. Families can tour the school, meet staff members, learn about our school programs, and participate in some fun activities, as well as meet other families with school-age children. This summer, we will have 3 kindergarten transition events. The first event will be in June and hosted by the Penn Hills Public Library. The other events will happen in July and August at the elementary school. The kindergarten transition events will be posted on the Penn Hills School District website and social media. Families that have registered children will be sent information prior to the event, so please register early so we can prepare for your child.
Wow, elementary school is going to be busy with all those
We are
activities.
It's buzzing.
We are buzzing.
Okay, and I have one last question for you ladies.
Yeah.
How can families reach out if they have questions or get stuck registering, online or through the school mint process? What are some troubleshooting tips you can give?
Well, so the School Mint platform is new to us this year. So honestly, that was meant to make it easier because it's all digitalized. You can upload documents right to there. But we have information on our district website. It's actually a step-by-step process on how to do that. Like it tells you, step number 1, do this, and here's the documents you need, and you can upload them right to School Mint. But surely if you have questions or something is not going the way it's supposed to, Mrs. Conti at the elementary school would be your person of contact to help speed up that process or, air on any kinks.
Yeah, and at any point in time, one of the principals, head principals, associate principals can be emailed as well if
Yeah.
you get stuck in the queue or have questions. So, anything else you'd like to add?
I also would like to say, if you're interested, you can take a tour at the elementary school and you can see all the great things that are happening in our classrooms.
Absolutely.
So please come on in. We would love to meet you.
Great point. We will set up individual tours for any parent, family, community member. You just have to contact us, and we'd be excited to do so. We want to share all the great things that are going on inside the walls of Penn Hills Elementary. So once again, I thank you. I know you're busy with all the activities, so I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Another question we received through the Google form was, how are the children and staff dealing with the passing of their teacher? What supports have you put in place for them emotionally and academically? I'm going to turn this over to our Director of Pupil Services, Mrs. Brown, to answer this question.
One of the first things we want to remember is that grief comes in stages, and we want to make sure that our response to students and staff needs is flexible and continuous. So with that said, we first want to emphasize that our high school student support team, our school social worker, Mrs. Smith, our school counselors, Mr. Darcy, Mr. Zemba, and Mr. Morris are all available every day for student supports, along with Dr. Kilcrease, who works as a counselor in our New Directions classroom. That team of supports are there for students on an ongoing basis. They have been available in the classrooms and throughout the school as needed. One of the things that we wanted to do was to hear from the students that were most affected by Mr. Willie's passing. We issued a survey to students in those classrooms and learned a lot about where those students were in terms of their grief process. Some of the students were ready to get on with academics, while others still needed support, both individually and or in a group format, and have requested some additional grief counseling. So as we always do, we work with our partners at Allegheny Children's Initiative, who is our district SAP provider, and along with partnering with the Caring Place of Pittsburgh as well, to offer those additional support dogs. We also have contracted with, we've also reached out to Hope Therapy Dogs as an additional layer of supports for students and staff. Again, the most important part of this is the communication that should be ongoing between our student support team, our administration at the high school, and our students and families to make sure that they know that we're here and we're flexible in responding to the needs of the students, but also the students need to know who to reach out to in times of need. So that continuously monitoring that communication is important.
I'd like to thank everybody for participating and viewing the February session of Coffee and Conversation. We know it takes a village, a community to improve and get better. So please get involved in your schools, come to school board meetings, and at the very least, if you have a question or concern, get on the website, click the link, ask the questions, and we'll be sure to get you answers to be transparent. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Take care.
At the Penn Hill School District, we believe that every child should have a chance to reach their full potential, a chance to explore and learn about the world around them, a chance to build their own future with an understanding of the past, a chance to dream about what could be, and the chance to turn those dreams into reality. At the Penn Hill School District, our students receive individualized attention and smaller class sizes led by highly qualified teachers who truly care about their students and families.
The best part for me would be the students. Just seeing their enthusiasm when you come in, you know, the hugs and the "Hi, Miss Henderson," and just knowing that you're making a difference even when they're so young.
Our rigorous curriculum includes courses in a variety of STEM and entrepreneurial subjects, including robotics and coding. Our Cyber Academy gives students the chance to learn from home, but we still focus on the basics and make sure that all students have the foundations of a well-rounded education.
It's application of math instead of just procedural math. Really meeting the students where they are is very important.
At the Penn Hill School District, nothing is more important than the safety of our students and staff. In addition to our 4 levels of safety protocol, we follow restorative justice practices and employ a variety of counselors, social workers, and youth engagement specialists to support our students when they need it. And of course, Penn Hill School District has a history of excellence in sports and the arts. Our students have the chance to grow their talents in a variety of music groups in both middle and high school. Our theater productions are open to the public and have won several prestigious Gene Kelly Awards. Our high school students are heavily recruited by colleges for a variety of sports and regularly win WPIAL and state championships. Our excellent sports facilities include weight rooms, an indoor swimming pool, gymnasiums, and even indoor turf for practices. And we are already breaking ground on our new girls flag football and esports teams. At the Penn Hill School District, we believe that every child should have a chance to reach their full potential because we believe in every child. Rediscover Penn Hill School District.